to try to melt down the big packs. So I'm going to tone it down a little bit just so I don't have to do fishing right. We'll just do a 105. It should be totally manageable. I actually think this might be easy because I don't know what the CR difference here is, but I'm going to show you why the skills that I'm using are. I'm not even going to try to beat it. I'm just going to show examples. So the first thing is they are pretty high. So right now we're at a 74 with a 300%. That's fine. So the first skill that I've discovered that I think is mandatory in CR pushing is this Dark Curse. You cast it on them, and they get a 50% movement speed reduction and a 50% attack speed reduction. As you can see, this turns them into, like, you can literally run circles around these guys, and they are not doing nothing. Right. They're totally slow. And the best part is, when you use these shoulders, it actually lowers their duration by 30% and the cooldown by 10 if it's awoken. Yeah. So that duration by 30% means that it's pretty much a 100% uptime, and that they're going to have it, and then by the time the cooldown's up, they're going to be ready. It's going to be ready to cast, and they're still going to have it ticking. Yeah. So that's a huge one for big groups. The second revelation was just how good regular old bone wall is. So I'm going to try to find a rage enemy. Oh, here we go. This guy's perfect because he's casting those little fire things. So I'm going to try not to die here. The other thing here is this bone wall, just straight up generic old bone wall. See how that guy is trying to go so this laser thing actually pierces it. It's one of the few attacks that can.
Shots don't go through your bone wall.
Look at this. Isn't this great? When you have that, it actually creates a little box pocket for you to hide in. Some of the attacks will, as you can see, some attacks will get through it, but I can use these to create things. I can light this on fire, and you can create little pockets to kite around using the bone walls. And like, obviously I'm not trying to actually dodge right now, so I'm getting rocked. Let's try to actually slow this up a little bit. So you can create this to create little pockets. It forces them to kite around so you can kind of hide. If you're on stair levels, you can actually create just barriers they can't get through. You obviously, it becomes an issue right there when you have guys coming through. But when you become really good at position, oh man, I'm dead.
You're okay.
I'm just messing around. But like I said, when you become really good at positioning these to block in melee enemies like that, you can use it to block in range attacks. There are different range attacks that are blocked by it and some that aren't. But when you like figure out which enemies are extremely susceptible to it, it allows you to fish for the rifts that you want, using that, which is really powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
And the other cool thing about it is you can run through it too. Like if you cast it, you can run right through this. You actually, and you can shoot through it too. It's not blocked by your own thing. So I'm going to kill this guy real quick because I should be able to just. Now, as you can see, when you have this thing piercing, the damage is no joke. Like this racks up.
Literally don't move with that curse. That is ridiculous.
It's insane, right? This is the only way we can stay ahead. When I was racing you that night and watching you just whirlwind through, I'm like, must be nice to have whirlwind and immunity. I need to figure something out. It was actually that night that I worked on this build because I was trying to figure out what I could do to try to like get the groups together and do it. And so see what I mean? Look how much the pierces on the orbitals. They just pierce these whole groups. It's great. It's massive AoE. There's some things you just can't really do anything about. Like there's obviously going to be some enemies. The golems in the sand level, they have their little they have an attack where they like pound the ground and they send like kind of a spike through the dirt that comes up at you. That will go right through. But see what I mean? Like you just kind of group them up here, block them off with the bone wall. Most of the projectiles can't get you. You're safe.
So that bone wall has no life.
It's
time.
Full duration. Yes, it's insanely strong. And I want to get to a boss and hope that I get one of the lucky ones because this bone wall is absolutely insane against some of the bosses. There are, just like every class, I feel like we have the bosses that we want to see and the bosses that we don't want to see. But there are some that are just hilariously just freebies if you get it with the bone wall. Like the Necromancer or whatever her name is. Every single one of her attacks can be blocked by bone wall.
Wow.
The only thing you're worried about is her golem pet. Like her golem pet is a bit of an issue.
Just avoid the stomp when it's about to stomp on you.
So there are other options you could use over the bone spikes. I do think it's not as mandatory as some of the other options. You could definitely swap in like, if you wanted more mobility, maybe for the Wraith form with the chip or something. Well, I guess you couldn't use the pants, the slow. That's the only reason I'm not using the chip with the pants right now is because this Dark Curse overrides. And for the record, I think I've been testing this Dark Curse in PvP. It is obscenely underrated right now. I've switched to it a few times, and I'm considering still tinkering with it. The only reason I've been favoring the pants right now is because it procs chip and this doesn't. But when you get this used on you in PvP, it's like you're playing in slow-mo. Watching like Barbarians whirlwind in slow motion, catching up to Demon Hunters because they vault through the air in slow-mo. This has serious PvP implications, and I wouldn't be surprised.
That's pretty much going to force barbarians to save certain cooldowns. That way they are immune to that.
It's insane. And it affects whole groups. It gets whole areas. So like you'll be running up to like groups trying to kill a golem or something in big packets, and you just drop it on the whole circle of them, and they just instantly become sitting ducks, you know? We also have probably one of the best ultimates in the entire game. And I like this ultimate too because it's affected by that set bonus. These things just go everywhere, kill everything. It's a very powerful ultimate.
Yeah, that is nuts.
So let's see which boss we get here.
Hopefully it's one of the easier ones. That way we can show it off.
Yeah, this guy's fine. I mean, I know he's kind of a problem for the melee classes. This thing can be a little wonky using with the mouse cursor. You can see this thing, aiming this thing is a real... This guy's not one of the great ones, but you can still slow those guys down and kind of ignore them. You know, you just kind of go ham on this guy. The bone orbitals help. Right now I'm at a CR where he's slow and his attacks are easy to telegraph, so he's not too bad. I just try to... I mean, he's punching me right now. I just try to kind of run circles around him with the bone orbitals and try to keep it up. And
I mean, the bone orbitals, that's consistent damage the entire time.
Yep, the entire time. It's very strong. And you can drop these, even though he can walk through those. They're still good just to get the passive tick fire damage going on him, so he's not too bad. But yeah, so awesome. Obviously not one of the better ones. The slow obviously doesn't work on bosses either, but...
Right.
But yeah, he's not too bad, but I should be able to kill this guy.
Oh yeah, you can definitely kill that guy, like, no problem. Not even trying to beat Riff 105 and straight explaining things, still beasted through.
Yeah. We're at that CR point now, I think.
Right.
This one's kind of...
That is awesome.
But yeah, I do love the set bonus. I think that this is a fun one. It's too bad that the 6-piece doesn't really click with it. I mean, you've got this attack speed buff thing, and then the set bonus is based on, I don't know what, like the apotheosis heal. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird 6-piece that doesn't really jive that well. I like 6 pieces like the Mountebank set 6-piece. I think that is, you know, a funner one that plays into the theme of the set a lot more. And I wish that this set bonus did that, but
yeah, that's what I was thinking about going with, was the Mountebank's set piece.
It's very powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so in situations like ours where we've whaled it up and we have really powerful characters, the reason Mountebanks is such a powerful set for us is it's one of the sets that really scales with our stats in an incredible way, because it's a raw percentage of our HP, and because the damage proc is based off our maximum HP. It makes it really strange in that our maximum HP is so high that when that procs, it's hitting players for just absolutely massive amounts of damage, which is a little impressive. But yeah, so he's dosed. That wasn't too bad.
That rift and explaining things.
Yeah, no problem.
That was a good video for the people, baby. That was great
for
necros out there.
We'll go run through a BG real quick too for the walls.
Sure.
If my dog Mila catches this frisbee, you have to subscribe. Mila, you ready, baby? Don't let daddy down, baby. What you got, baby? Woo! Don't forget to hit that bell as well.